So leaders who can create that environment where change is not a big thing, it's just the norm, it is expected, it is encouraged, it is rewarded, they're the ones that will be able to keep up with their teams. I think the biggest challenge that we're all facing, and we will face forevermore, is that there is just relentless, ever accelerating change coming at us. And I worked in the tech industry for many years at Microsoft, and it's there that I learned for the first time that today is always the slowest rate of change that we will experience for the rest of our lives. It just gets faster and faster. Technology is a large part of that, but just human intuition and societal progress. So this change is something we're having to deal with. And frankly, go back a few decades, there was always change, but it was slow, it was ponderous. You could respond to things. Now it's literally coming at you every second of the day. And so this constant need to keep up, to reinvent aspects of the business is the biggest challenge. And it also means that, competitive threats can emerge from anywhere. You think your business is this, you think you know what's going on, and something completely unexpected can happen, or the model can change, and it can happen very quickly. So I think that keeping up with change or being comfortable with change is the first thing, but simply keeping up with it isn't enough anymore. Frankly, it's exhausting and really demotivating for staff, trying to just constantly keep up, feeling like you're on that hamster wheel. But it's also impossible for any one person, or especially leaders, to know what will be needed in the future. It's not something that anybody has privileged insights into, because the future hasn't happened. I didn't get better at predicting the future as I rose through the ranks in my career, and nor does anybody else. So the challenge, I think, for leaders is that you need to accept this, but also create an environment where we can change together, where we're working as one, trying to support each other through change and trying to be the agents of change. And the thing that I love talking to audiences about is that many of the changes and challenges of the future that are coming, they are inevitable, and they're also partially visible to us. We know certain things are going to change, like AI, for example, artificial intelligence. We know that is going to have a big impact on our lives. Whether we want it or not, it's going to. And we don't know exactly how, we don't know when, we don't know why, or we don't know how it will evolve, but we know it's coming. So when you know that change is inevitable, you can, if it's important to you, try to anticipate it more, try to deal with it earlier. And that's why I talk about the leader's mission being this need to create a collaborative, supportive environment, a culture where change is welcomed, it's invited in, and it's also created. We're not sitting back feeling like we're victims to change, we're excited by it. And, I think that's really hard for leaders, because you do have to some extent, surrender your historical role, which is I'm the leader, I have the answers, I know what's going on. And instead, you have to democratize that and let that decision, that future direction of travel, be determined with colleagues. You're not making the decisions for the colleagues anymore. You're making those decisions with them. It's the only way you're going to get a reasonable handle on what the future is likely to require. When I was at Microsoft, Bill Gates used to use this line in meetings. He'd say, "Today, if something works, it's obsolete." And it was a great awakener for me, because I'd always been brought up to think, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the truth is, everything today is obsolete. Everything is out of date. So, and many leaders are kind of coming to terms with that, but the tech industry got it decades ago. And when you accept that everything that we do, everything, every process, every system, every tool, every product, the way I'm recording this video with you, everything is obsolete. It can already be done better. The only decision is whether we should try a better way or not. We know there is a better way out there. Someone somewhere has figured out a better way to do this. So when things are obsolete, when we accept that, the mindset shift that leaders need to go through is they and everybody in their organization has absolute permission to improve everything in the business. but we do have to make decisions about which aspects we're going to improve first. So I suppose the first mindset shift that is really important is you can create the change. You don't have to wait until you have to react to a change that's forced upon you. Reactive change is really hard. Reactive change needs to be the exception, not the norm. We need to be proactive in creating the change. And secondly, I'd say that change doesn't have to always be this big thing. It doesn't always have to be disruptive. Big change is just the addition of lots of little changes, right, that build up over time. So the sort of culture that I try to encourage leaders to create is one where if at the end of each working day, everyone has improved something, however small, it doesn't matter. You've simplified the spreadsheet, you've moved those boxes that were by the fire escape, you've updated your email signature, it doesn't matter, small stuff. If everybody has done a few small things, after a month, that's a whole lot of change. That's a lot of positive change. And that's the big change that we need to keep our organization moving forwards. So leaders who can create that environment where change is not a big thing, it's just the norm, it is expected, it is encouraged, it is rewarded, they're the ones that will be able to keep up with their teams. Yeah, if you want to foster a culture of self-disruption, I think you have to accept that, it's blindingly obvious, but it took me a while to realize it when I was a leader, is that people will only change when they want to change. People only change when they want to. And they'll only put in the heavy lifting that's needed to improve things if they believe in the value that they bring to the world, if they believe that what they're doing is meaningful. And I don't believe that, I don't think anyone ever earned great success or created a brilliant future for themselves without having a reason to do so. So I try to help leaders to think about their culture in terms of ensuring that everyone, and I mean everyone, has a sense of their personal mission, the reason why they do the job they do. It's a heartfelt reason why you are proud to work in the service of others in your organization. Because far too often we get caught in the trap of, well, it's a job, it pays the bills, it means I can cover the rent at the end of the month. That type of mindset is not enough for someone to put in the extra work, the extra shift, the legwork, the heavy lifting that's needed to see improvements, to make things better. So we need people to be self-compelled, self-motivated to help the company to improve. And to do that, you give them a personal mission. You help them to find what really excites them about the work that you do. And I've yet to work with a client where we haven't been able to find stuff that's incredibly meaningful, incredibly important for the community we serve, or planet Earth, or the industry. It's really important stuff we do, but we lose sight of it because, well, it's just a job. And once you've given people a personal mission, you need to then create the environment where improving stuff is routine. It's all obsolete. So what are we improving today? And I have a couple of superpowers that I talk about a lot, because these are things that humans are brilliant at, but technology is rubbish at. And frankly, I don't think technology will ever do these things as well as the biological complexity of the human brain. And the two superpowers that you really want to see from your people are, they boil down to being curiosity and creativity. Now, I call these open and surprise. Open is about having the ability and permission to surrender your past experience, to recognize that that may be an obstacle to your future, so that you see the business afresh every day. And you look at it and you say, well, why are we doing these things? Why is that relevant? Why is that right? And just, like a child does, just ask why a lot. And it's a really easy thing to do once you've mastered it, but it's incredibly difficult to start doing this because we're just used to, well, the photocopier's over there and the hat stands in the corner, and that's just the way the business is, because we can't become blind to it. That's how things are. But actually, when you have the ability to start questioning why are we doing things the way we're doing them, you start to see that sometimes the status quo is not optimal, and actually there are reasons that we should improve that thing and that thing and that thing. They're everywhere. So that's curiosity, is having the ability to ask why. Those naive questions, they're great fun. But the second one is creativity. And I call this surprise. surprise is recognizing that it's okay to have ideas. And if we can get team members to ask, well, what if we did this? What if we tried that? To dream big, to chase down some non-obvious but potentially valuable possibilities, then we can bring those ideas into the organization, and together we can decide if we should make those happen. Because there's so much in curiosity and creativity that will unlock infinite possibilities within the status quo, let alone new possibilities for the future. So I think great leaders, that's their challenge. You've got to create a culture where questioning the status quo is encouraged, and where fresh thinking is welcomed, nurtured, and frankly treasured.